Hey everybody, send your wives to Target, send your kids outside. It's garage time.
This episode is going to be brought to...
New heights.
Oh, wait. You can't say that.
Come at me, Travis. I want some attention.
Kelsey's.
Alright, so last episode we had some growing pains, which all of you noticed. We had to record our episode about 3 or 4 times. Pain in the ass. By the time we got done with it,
It was iffy at best. But guess what? We have spent some money out of the Garage Time account to buy a microphone. So hopefully everybody's loud and clear, you can hear us, and everything's going to sound good, and we have no more microphone technical difficulties. There's probably going to be some more growing pains.
There'll be a few, but this should be a whole lot better, and you guys are coming in on the up and up of Garage Time.
It's Garage Time. Here we go. The new episode drop every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, including this Wednesday, day after Fat Tuesday, day after Mardi Gras. You'll all be starting your Lent and your fasting, but you can still gobble down some Garage Time.
Yes. And then, a lot of you know, and if you followed us on any social media, we've had a social media contest going on, and it's coming to an end.
Yeah, we have a whole lot of entries, and thank you guys for that. Moving forward in the future, maybe we'll try to narrow down how you can enter that contest. But again, if you liked, shared, commented on Facebook, TikTok, Podbean, YouTube, we entered you in that drawing. So We've got a ton of people to draw from.
Yes, and we will be doing that the next episode because technically the drawing hasn't ended as we're filming this. It'll end in a couple of days. So episode 3 will be reaching out to that and getting that set up and seeing what's in store for the winners.
Yes. Yeah.
So as we talked last time, 4 categories.
Yes, sir.
Unsolicited advice, sports, the Garage Time reports, and what were they thinking. So we're going to start it off with don't expect you out of others.
And I think that's hard. You know, I think that as we mature, as we get older, we have these expectations for ourselves, these goals for ourselves, things that we want to accomplish, values, morals. And a lot of times we expect that out of other people.
Correct.
And it's hard because, you know, other people have different life experiences, different values, different morals, and maybe they can still contribute in a valuable way without being you.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of it is, we both are very involved in the communities that we have around here, and we're always coaching, anything with the kids. We just went to a fundraiser Saturday night to put a new playground at the school, and that's stuff that we do to, help our kids out, help our community, and we can't always expect everybody else to reciprocate what we put out. Just because we care so much, I can't expect my neighbor to do the same.
Right, and I think there's different measuring sticks. We obviously take pride in volunteering and being part of the community, and sometimes maybe we get frustrated when other people don't want to step up and help, especially with something like the playground. But other people may look at what we're doing and be like, why are you wasting your time with the podcast? Why aren't you,
Exactly.
So you just got to kind of temper those expectations, I think. Yeah,
you definitely do, and, coming from a small town, especially with the younger generation coming up, I feel a lot of people this day and age want to, I'd rather give you $50 rather than spend 2 or 3 hours of my time out doing anything. I work 8 hours a day, I got 2 kids. I don't want to be outside of my house. I want to be in the backyard with my kids versus running around town trying to raise money for the community. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that's just the way some people are,
Right.
Then you have people on the other side of us, on the other side of it that are like us, who we'll give you the $50 and then we still, dedicate a lot of our time to bettering the community and doing these fundraisers that we need to do.
Yeah, and I think I look at that, we're big sports guys. You guys have picked up on this. Our wives have told us we need to talk about sports less.
We're a sports podcast.
Yeah. But, I look at it like a baseball team, okay? We have coaches. Sometimes, especially at this age, we have volunteer coaches. Maybe we get upset because why doesn't so-and-so help out with the team? But maybe so-and-so's at home helping their kid with batting practice. They're throwing them some things on the field. They're giving them good pointers. They're watching YouTube videos on batting stance. So maybe they're not us. They're not contributing in the same way, but they're helping the team in their own way. So, just don't expect you out of other people.
Let's take this into the next thing we want to talk about, volunteering. You know, you've already kind of hit on that with the coaching, and you know, we I guess both have with being out in the community. But one thing we both do is we volunteer. We are on the park board for our local park district.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of time.
A lot.
You know,
especially during the summer season.
Yes. You know, when we got 7 junior Spartans baseball teams, softball teams, and then another 7 to 10 little league teams between t-ball up to coach pitch. And that takes a lot of our time, but we enjoy it. We're sports people. We like being out there and trying to grow these kids and to better characters and learn the pastime of America.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I do want to be clear, because I know that there's a certain view on volunteering, and maybe people are sitting out there thinking a certain way, but I'm not talking about a handout. Like, don't volunteer, don't give your time to give something to somebody else, especially when it comes to money. Now, it's great to be charitable, but I'm not talking about I just won the lottery, I should give a bunch of money back to other people.
I don't know if that's volunteering, though.
Right, like not really a handout.
Yeah.
But volunteering helps somebody out near you. And there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah.
There's soup kitchens, you can volunteer at the school, you can volunteer to pick up the park. We've had several volunteer days at the park that don't always go over well. And the people that do show up, God bless them, they may clean up leaves, they do something that was within their wheelhouse that they can help with,
right.
And it helps the better cause,
right.
And
that's the thing, the best thing about it, like, if there's somebody who doesn't, have the money to just, donate, volunteering is a good way to offset that, and whether it's 15 minutes of your time, or a day, or 2 hours, whatever, anybody that is involved in that organization that you're volunteering for is going to appreciate that.
Absolutely, and I think, us living in a small community, rural Illinois, small town, that volunteering is important. When we think about the school system, when we think about the park district, the baseball teams, football teams we've been a part of, I don't think that they function without volunteers.
No, they don't. And a lot of people will say, like, you get these small towns and it's the same 6 to 10 families at every event. Well, it's true, but that's just the way it is. Like, some people aren't going to come out and do more than they want to,
right.
And that's perfectly fine. They volunteer in a different way, whether it's, like, for example, Saturday night at the Education Foundation fundraiser, there were people helping clean up the tables. That took 5 minutes of their time. They shot out the door, they were done.
Right.
That's a volunteer.
Well, if you eat at the playground on your lunch break and you go to throw away your trash and you notice that there's trash scattered throughout the grass, pick it up.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that, just to help the community and help everybody around.
Yeah, I agree. I think we both brought some pretty important topics on that, and a lot of it, volunteering in the community, not expecting out of others, really ties everything together on just being a good person, really, having moral standards, and just being ethical and doing the right thing.
And I think for kids, when I grew up, I think you were probably the same way growing up, especially on a baseball team when the weather was nice. It not only was volunteers for adults, but like if the park had a cleanup day, if we had the bell ringing at Christmas time, things like that, our sports teams took part in that.
Yes.
And I think that was important for the youth because it teaches them responsibility. It teaches them a feeling of community. It teaches them that I'm part of a bigger picture.
I agree with that. I was always probably the weird kid. I didn't mind doing some of that stuff. I always got to play my video games when it was dark.
Yeah.
So I was okay with being out doing something else, hanging out with my friends, doing whatever. I remember doing 50-50 at basketball game in high school because I didn't play high school basketball.
Right.
I did a 50-50 because I thought it was fun and it got me in the game for free.
Yeah.
So some volunteering does have its perks.
It does, yeah. And honestly, I think if you really look at it, most volunteering has some kind of perk to it.
It really does, yeah.
So, we're big advocates for that. And being in a small community, I imagine most people watching this are in a small community. But even if you're in a big city, there are ways that you can volunteer a little bit of your time, help somebody out.
Even the big cities probably need volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
You got the homeless shelters that are there, soup kitchens like you mentioned. We don't have a lot of that around here because we're smaller, but you get up to the big cities, like I'm probably going to use Chicago for an example, since we're in Illinois. I bet there's tons of that kind of stuff up there.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be way easier to find a volunteer thing that would fit, you as a person there versus the minor things we have here.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
shouldn't
so
say
too.
minor, but the few things that we have to offer as a volunteer here.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. So, and you know, kind of when we were talking about that value with volunteering, sorry, sometimes you know we get into free basketball games, or you know sometimes it's just the value of helping youth out. But that kind of leads into our next subject too, which is that being rich doesn't always equal money.
Correct. You know, I remember like growing up, you always thought, oh man, that person's rich, and it always looked at the money. You know, now as a 32-year-old adult, yeah, it's cool. You got a lot of toys and you're rich.
Yeah.
You know, but I come home to my kids every night. You know, I get to see all their events. You know, I have a job that lets me make it to anything I need to for them. I consider myself rich in that aspect. You know, I don't have to miss anything if I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think, you know, it's the same thing. You know, obviously it's nice to come home from work and you've got a new bicycle in your hands and kid comes running up and, oh man, Dad. But it's almost more valuable when you get home and you got nothing in your hands and, oh, Dad, you know, like there's value and there's, you know, rich without just the money side of things.
And, you know, one thing I would like to say is, like, you know, we both are obviously sports dads, but I feel like it's more rich to me if I run up and my kid comes up, says, hey, Dad, here's a glove. Let's play some catch.
Yeah.
To me, that's rich, you know. I can buy him a bike and send him outside and go inside and do whatever I want, but if I can play catch with my kid and have that bond and just chill with him, even if it's for, you know, 5 or 6 tosses, you know, that to me is a lot, you know.
Yeah, or the kid that, you know, has been working all year, the at-bats really aren't showing it. Maybe he's getting walked, maybe he hasn't gotten that hit yet, and you get into late in the season when the season's almost over and he gets that single and he gets on base. You know, even if it's not your own kid, that's rich.
But,
you
yep,
know?
yeah. And then, you know, I just want to talk another thing. Like, I believe we both have jobs that make us rich. Not by the paycheck, but what we do. You know, for those of you that don't know, Kyle is a very... Can we talk about it?
We can talk about it. That's fine.
So he's a nurse practitioner, you know, and, you know, he went to school, battled through a lot of hills in life to get to this, and now, you know, he gets to help people in our community through a convenient clinic. That's got to feel rich.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to help people. You know, some things that we do maybe don't make a big difference in the world, but being able to help somebody, and again, you know, anybody that knows me knows I'm big on kids,
right.
And, you know, being able to make a kid feel better, to help them achieve a healthier lifestyle, to control a chronic illness, I mean, those are all things that really help.
Right.
And, you know, moving forward, I hope to be in a position that I can use those skills and use that job to maybe help more of my community, which helps a lot of everything that we've talked about, but also just builds to that wealth that's not financial.
Yes.
So, and your job too. I mean, you're able to help people quite a bit too.
Yeah, you know, like if a storm hits, you know, I'm one of the ones that gets called to go out and give estimates on fixing a roof or doing some siding, windows, whatever the case may be. And, you know, I kind of meet them at the worst time if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know, because if a tree falls through your house, that's one of the worst days of your life. You know, you're like, oh man, like what am I going to do? You know?
Where do I go from here?
Yeah, you know, and I come in, I'm like, hey, well, this is what we can do for you. You know, we can get this tree out of here, we can tarp up your roof. And to me, that's rich. I'm helping you out at a time that you're really down in life.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much worse than having a tree fall through your house. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit, but, you know, to you, that's a devastating day. It doesn't happen all the time. You're like, oh man, what am I going to do? So I get to come in at that downtime and kind of be a beacon of light and help you out and move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's valuable too. I mean, I think, and this is not bragging, but I think both of us have had successes in life in different aspects where, you know, you do something really well and you hit that success and everybody wants to shake your hand and everybody wants to say good job. But those times that you're really at your darkest, the down times, having that friendly face and somebody to step forward and be like, hey man, I'm here to help. That's a great thing.
Yeah,
so,
you know, and you talked about that, you know, we both had great successes, you know, but we work hard to get there, you know, and I think that's why we value being rich as something less than money.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we put in the sweat and the blood and the tears and the long nights to get what we've been, you know, whether it's been through schooling for you and all the road trips of being a travel nurse, and all the classes I had to take to be successful in sales. That's just kind of the way life's worked for us. And we're both very fortunate. Yeah, do we make a good living around here? Sure, but we're very happy and blessed.
We're sorry, we're experiencing technical difficulties again.
All right, so moving on to sports for our next topic.
Sports.
Yes, so Kyle came up with an interesting category or topic, I guess, for a category, and I'm kind of just gonna roll with it here because, well.
Yeah. So I think this is an interesting thing. We both have had multiple conversations off air that youth sports, people are really rough on the umps and the refs, and we've seen different sides of that, myself as a parent and a coach, and you as an ump and a ref for different sports. But I thought it was ironic that while we say don't heckle the umps during youth sports, MLB rolls around and opening day we're like, are you blind?
So we're sitting there yelling at our TV. How do you miss that?
Yeah.
And
so I thought what would be funny is if we discussed some of the best and some of the worst ump heckling that we've heard.
Yeah. So, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Heckling an ump is fine. As an official myself, it's when it starts getting personal.
Yeah.
You start dropping the F-bomb out there. You start, calling me names or, oh, man, your wife, you bring that kind of stuff. And that's when I start getting upset. Like, oh, are you blind? Nah, I'm going to laugh at you.
Right.
Like, I don't care. That doesn't bother me. So.
And I think that's where it's at, because if you think about most ump heckles, and there's some creative ones out there, there's some of them that make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
But it always boils down to the ump is blind, the ump is biased, the ump is not competent,
right.
Or then you get personal,
right.
But yeah, I mean, some of the good ones I've heard, obviously, there's the old one, hey ump, is this your cell phone because you're missing calls?
Right.
Like that one's old,
yeah,
everybody gets a good chuckle.
One. It's like, hey, this person's paying attention.
Yeah.
That's a nice heckle. You're not gonna get thrown off the game for that.
Right.
So that's a good one. I like it. Obviously, for me, I wear hearing aids, and a lot of people that know me or have seen me before they met me. So I'm surprised you heard that.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't mind it. Like, it's not super personal. It's just a quick little chat joke that doesn't really bother me. But it's like I said, it's when the name is involved.
Yeah. One of the ones I heard last year, and I'm standing on first base as coach, and I hear a parent yell this, and I kind of laughed to myself because you don't want to encourage it, right? Especially when you're in that position. But we're sitting there, 10U Sports, and this parent yells, "Hey ump, should the pitcher slow down so you can see those?"
Oh, he's pitching too fast.
Yeah, he's pitching too fast.
That's a good one. I like it. Whenever you say something like that, once again, that's a good old ump heckling. I've had people. I've had one that some parents said to me back in the day that said, "Hey, he missed third base." I'm like, "Well, I didn't see it." Like, could they running too fast?
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
Just stuff like that. That's not bad. When people are too fast, a little blind, need to slow something down. Those are good ones. So.
Yeah, I think those ones are pretty good. I mean, you even get some that are kind of borderline. Like I heard one that was like, "Hey, ump, bend over and use your good eye." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're at a youth sport. It's decent, but all right."
Yeah.
One of them that I heard was, I don't remember. I think this was in a Bushnell tournament last year, and I don't remember where the parent was from or whatever. But he said, "Hey, shake your head. Your eyes are stuck."
Yeah, rattle those eyes, get them fixed again. Yeah,
so.
I've had that one. I've had a couple, be behind the plate and, you call strike. They're like, did you have a bug in your face?
Yeah.
I don't think you were looking at that, Something simple like that. Just,
yeah. And it's got to be simple. You got to be quick. Yeah. You got to get it out. It can't be this 3-sentence long thing when you're like, la 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 la.
If you're just rambling on to ramble, then whatever. But.
Yeah. And I think, an important side of this, and we've both, talked with other people who've coached, and we've made this conversation ourselves, but heckling the ump is kind of a fun thing, especially as a parent. Coaches will give it to each other, things like that. But as a coach, my kids don't heckle the ump.
Right.
100%. My team will not say anything bad to the ump.
No. I'm with you on that. If I coach my kids and I help coach high school football, you're not talking to the ref.
Yeah.
like we'll handle that, you know.
Yeah, you got a problem, you come to me,
Yeah.
I'll talk to them.
Exactly.
You don't do that.
You know, but so heckling is something that's supposed to be on good faith with the game, not trying to personalize the rep or the official and make them feel belittled because you're just mad about something.
Right. Exactly.
No, I like I do basketball. That's one of the big ones I do, and people like obviously another town was close by. Like, I think you just came from Prairie City with that one.
Yeah.
No, he traveled. That's what they're saying. I'm fine with that. Like, that's good. You didn't use my name. Boom, I like it.
Yeah, it's lighthearted. It's quick. It doesn't distract the game.
Yeah.
And I think the other side of that, and again, it's not ump heckling, but as parents, like, even as a coach, you want to heckle the ump. It's lighthearted. It's not personal. I'm good with that. Don't heckle the kids, though.
Oh,
if I've got a pitcher and you're trying to disrupt a 10-year-old pitcher, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
There's
well, in any game, really. I mean, like, if you're an adult and you're saying something to a minor who's a player, like, what are you accomplishing here?
Yeah, it's
like,
not that serious.
Like, I would never condone that ever, but why are you talking to a kid?
Yeah.
Like, what is going so bad in your life that you need to talk to a kid to help out your kid's team?
Yeah,
that's way off.
I don't understand it at all. I don't, like I said, you want to ump heckle, do any of that stuff. You want to give the coach a good jab or something, that's fine, but not the kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got an opinion on that, little ump heckling and some fun, but one thing happened over the last few weeks and at the Super Bowl, and I found a very interesting topic I want to talk about. Now, anybody knows, most people know if they watch football, Jameis Winston is.
Yeah.
If you don't Google him, you'll see he's the 30 for 30 guy.
30 for 30.
So I found this interesting thing that said Jameis Winston interviewed people during Super Bowl week. And I think his interviews had 2 million more views than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa.
And I don't know if you've seen these, but they're hilarious. Like, he
they
goes
are.
up to the players and he's like, I know what we're all thinking. Biggest game of the year. What's your favorite color?
Yes. And now, Jameis Winston's always been a character.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, he's always been a character. And so some of these interviews he did were dancing.
Yeah.
Was, what's your favorite color? Something funny to get everybody engaged. And when I saw that, 2 million more viewers on that, I was just shocked. I was like, what in the, like, how?
Right.
So I go back and watching, clips. I didn't watch a whole bunch of them, but just clips of, like, what he was doing. And he's really just being
himself.
Being on himself, which is a funny guy, and
yeah.
I think we need more of that in the world.
I think so, too. And one of the funny things he did, I think with maybe Chris Jones and some of the other guys, is he said, here, guys, you ready to eat some W's? And he started handing out, like, W-shaped cookies.
Yes.
I was like, this is awesome. Or he was, throwing the cookies to different players. And when it came to Kelsey, he threw 3. And he, like, overthrew one, underthrew one. One was intercepted. And then the third one, Kelsey finally caught the cookie. And he said, well, everybody always intercepts what I throw. So he's making fun of himself, too.
Like, and that's the thing. So, like, did he have a historically, you want to say bad, but did he have a historically weird year?
Oh, yeah.
On that 30-30? Yeah, obviously. But it's also kind of impressive as well.
It is. And, for those of you that don't know, we're not going to dive too far into stats on this episode, but Jameis Winston, the 30-30 thing, he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in a season, and then tried to blame it on the fact that he needed to have LASIK eye surgery. I didn't know who I was throwing to.
Yeah, so, man, I mean, I'd probably blame it on anything I could at that point, too.
Yeah, like, whatever I could do.
Yeah, my shoulder hurt, man, or, the guy been running too slow, whatever, something. You're going to blame it, but LASIK eye surgery was a good one when he blamed it on that. So
that was pretty creative.
So now that we're on football, let's talk about the other thing we decided to pick up. Getting rid of the chain gang.
Yeah, so I'm so mixed about this. As a fan, there's certain things about, we'll stick with football, because baseball I could go on forever. But there's certain things about watching the game that, man, it just feels good. And honestly, the chain gang's one of those.
Yes.
I like seeing them on the sidelines.
Well, you are a member of the chain gang.
I was on the chain gang, yeah. I didn't like seeing this year. It seemed like there were a lot of chain gang members that were hurt in the NFL.
Yes.
And you don't like seeing that. There's always the controversial calls. I think about that South Carolina game a few years ago where everybody had a fit about the ball barely being a first down. So I do think there's some benefit to the electronic down marker, but I just hate to see the chain gang go.
So speaking of that, I did a chain gang for a couple of years down at Western Illinois, or university that we have down here. It's a small D1 football school. And if those guys are coming at you, you know what you do?
You move.
You drop this damn thing and you get out of there. You don't sit there and try to stand up to them.
Right.
These are moving athletes who are very large in size.
Yeah.
Even the smallest athletes are usually bigger than the common guy.
And wearing a shit ton more pads than you are.
Right. And they're running. You were standing still. You're going to lose that battle every single time.
Right.
Drop your shit and run. Why are we getting hit? That's what I don't understand. How do you not see these players running at you at 22 miles an hour thinking they're going to just miss you? That's not going to happen. They're going to run you over.
Well, and props, because my first thought last year when I saw all of the chain gang members getting hurt on the sideline in the NFL games is, man, some of these guys are old. But then my second thought was, how the hell are they keeping up with these athletes? I mean, Tyreek Hill takes off 30 yards, and this chain gang goes down there and gets the first down marker. They're athletic, too,
Right.
I think what I'm most afraid of, and we've talked about this, too, if it starts with replacing the down markers with electronic down markers, then I'm afraid that we start this slide where next we have an electronic home plate umpire. Next, we have an electronic.
Everything going over.
Everything's electronic. Right. We lose that human aspect.
Yes, and I think that's something to keep the sports interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to hold people accountable, but you don't want to lose the human aspect of the game. That's what makes the game what it is. A bad call is going to happen, just like a bad pass. A bad block. Human umpires are human. Just like the players, just like the coaches, just like the fans. And I think that needs to be recognized more often than it is.
Yeah.
But you start going into electronic first down marker, we're getting away from that human connection of the game. Oh, yeah, well, the robot's going to tell us here in 2 seconds whether or not that was correct.
Right.
And we're already challenging flags, You can challenge a pass interference or a non-PI. So we're already hitting that, so just maybe give them a couple more challenges to offset that and do away with the robot.
And I think the extreme example, and I hope that it never comes to this, but if you continue to use electronic thing, then is there ever a thinking where you say, there's too many player injuries, there's too many concussions, which is important, I'm not saying it's not, but what if instead of actually playing together and having these collisions, we do virtual reality? And the computer tracks. They never even see each other.
Right.
And you have Jameis Winston throwing an electronic interception to somebody.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to see the human aspect leave the game.
Well, you got to draw a line somewhere.
Right.
And I don't think, officials have a hard job, especially at that level of the NFL. These guys are fast.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman who can outrun both of us.
Easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you expect officials to be able to keep up with these guys? They are athletes themselves, like you said. They are athletic. They're getting up and down the field. So to keep that interaction, I think that keeps the game being what it is.
And I think, being a little bit of a football and a baseball nerd, some of the electronic things help. Like the StatCast, he was running so fast. This baseball player had a 7% probability of catching this ball. Right. I like seeing that thing. Instant replay is a great thing. But those things are helping humans. I'm not a big fan of the electronic things replacing the humans.
Right. Yeah. So. No, 100% agree with that. So I agree. That's always good to have that way. But that's enough for sports. You're gonna keep on chatting about this.
Well, I think that'll be it for sports today. And
hold on. You guys see this hat?
Oh yeah.
You see this hat? What's coming up, baby?
March Madness.
Now, how's Texas doing?
Not well.
Not so hot.
They missed their window.
Had to rub it in. Had to rub it in.
Yeah. There's some other SEC people I think you want to watch out for. Texas is not
one of them. No. Honestly, all college basketball right now seems to be shook up. We watched a couple games after the fundraiser the other night, and I was kind of shocked to see some of the scores that we ran into. But, be on the lookout for March Madness.
We'll talk about that more here soon.
All right, let's go on to the Garage Time Reports. So, as you all know, tomorrow, which is Tuesday, March.
Yeah, March 4th.
4th. What's going on that day?
So tomorrow is Mardi Gras, and we realized that when this episode drops on Wednesday, it's going to actually be the day after Mardi Gras.
Correct.
We talked about it some on the last episode, but we wanted to make a little tribute to Mardi Gras in today's episode. So,
we're going to do the wrestler, right? The Hurricane?
yeah.
You guys remember him, the little dude dressed in black and green, had a cape?
Yeah, great wrestler.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
We have
her.
a Hurricane. Here, let's show you what we got right here. There's a little thing. I'll show you the bag that we have. We're cheap, you know. We got the frozen cocktail that's not so frozen because we didn't want to crunch on ice while we're trying to do this.
Because we appreciate you, the viewers.
You took your first drink. How was it?
Good. Really sweet.
Sweet?
Yeah, really sweet. And you know, if you want to see us mix our own hurricanes for next Mardi Gras, the best thing that you can do is like, follow, subscribe. We get paid for this, and we make our own hurricanes next year.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
Yeah. Who knows, you know, maybe if we get enough sponsors, we take a lucky fan with us.
Could be. You know, and I think in this area, I don't know of a whole lot going on with Mardi Gras.
Not around here, no.
No. I know it's going to be a very big thing. There's probably already people down there celebrating right now. It's Monday night.
I mean,
I would.
technically it started tomorrow, but if you're already off work, it started today when you got off work.
Yeah. I'm guaranteeing there's people that already took several days off for this as well.
Oh, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
I mean, if you're going to party, there's only one way to do it.
Yeah. You got to go to Mardi Gras.
Yeah, you know, Mardi Gras, drink your hurricanes, and walk up and down Bourbon Street. And
avoid the shit.
Avoid the shit. Yeah, we had some people tell us about some of the intriguing things that they've seen on Bourbon Street when they've been there.
Yeah.
And it seems pretty nasty. I don't think I'd ever take my kids there.
I don't think I'd take my kids, but I still think that I would like to go sometime. You know, experiencing New Orleans. I think if you're going to experience New Orleans, you got to experience Bourbon Street. And even though, as we addressed in the last episode, Mobile, Alabama started Mardi Gras, you think of Mardi Gras, you think of New Orleans.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and if I have to pick which town I'm going to, I'd probably pick New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Mobile, Alabama, but that doesn't sound like somewhere I really want to go.
Look, I'm not going to run into Drew Brees in Alabama.
No. I have a very much better chance of doing this down there by the Saints.
Or Jameis Winston.
That famous Jameis. I would kill to be interviewed by him.
Yeah. Orange, by the way. If you're watching this, orange is my favorite color.
Orange is your favorite color? Yeah, I'm going to have to go with blue. But
he needed the money.
Orange, I mean.
All right.
Go Texas. Home! But yeah, you know, we always talked about, you know, following our Facebook page, and we did a poll this past, week?
This past week or so.
We started the day that the
podcast dropped.
Yeah. So last Wednesday we started a poll for Girl Scout cookies. What was your favorite one? I don't know how many votes we actually got.
Yeah, so I think we had 5 categories. I think there was Thin Mints, Samoas, the peanut butter patties, the shortbread cookies, and then...
There's a couple others.
Yeah.
Some people wrote in, you know. Obviously, we told you what we like to do with the Thin Mints, and that's put them in the freezer, wait for a while, pull them out, and eat them. It seems like a lot of people agreed with us.
Yeah, Thin Mints ran away with it.
I mean, it wasn't even close. I think it was like 85% of the votes were Thin Mints. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, it wasn't even much of a contest, to be
honest. I'm glad to see that our fans and our followers are correct on which one it is.
Yeah. And I know, you know, one of the things that I've seen this year that I like to see, just the other day I saw a Facebook post of a mom whose girl had just a few boxes of Girl Scout cookies left.
Okay.
So, you know, I think that's great. They're nearing the end of the selling time, I think.
It's got to be close. Yeah. It's got to be close.
Reach out to those people around you.
Yes.
Buy up what's left of their boxes. It's a great cause. The girls like to sell them. I've never had a girl in Girl Scouts. Personally, I have 2 daughters, but they were never in it. But I've supported the hell out of some Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, man. And, you know, every year it seems like they go up, but that never stops me. Right. Oh, okay, so instead of $20, I'm giving you $30 now. Fill me up, you know. But yeah, no, it's a good cause. It's a good fundraiser for a national organization. Girl Scouts is huge, and you always want to have a chance to support anybody you can. It goes back to the volunteering and all this stuff. I have 2 boys, so Girl Scouts won't happen with me, but I don't think.
I mean, hey, things change. You never know.
It's not happening anyway. But no, support them. They got 3 boxes left. The odds of them selling 3, just buy them all out, help them out. Buy 3 boxes of whatever cookies, take them to work, share them with their coworkers, and move on. That's really all you need to do at this point. If you haven't bought any, get out there and do it. You're missing out. I don't know if you can actually order online anymore because of the deadline. I don't know where that deadline stops to cut you off for that, but if you can, go on there and order a couple more. So
yeah, just help them out. Like we said, they go good in the freezer. You can keep them on a shelf. They come, in individual little sleeves, so you don't have to worry about them going stale or anything. Yep. I mean, I just think with the amount of good they do with those sales, I would support them if you can.
I mean, you talked about the sleeves. Once it opens, you have to eat it.
Yeah, those are individual servings, right?
That's 1 helping per sleeve. So 2 helpings per case.
Yeah, a box of Thin Mints is 2 helpings.
Yes. So, but no, go out, support the Girl Scouts. Buy all the cookies you can. Even if it's just, friends, your friend has a daughter doing it, buy them. Either way, you're still helping out. So, but no, Girl Scouts cookies should be coming to an end. Mm-hmm. Glad to see all the young entrepreneurs that are out there.
Yeah.
Set up at Casey's or, in front of a local grocery store. Yeah, where else have I seen them set up? Dairy Den.
Dairy Den, yeah.
They were set up in front of a local restaurant here trying to sell their cookies.
I had a few come into my office.
Okay, there you go.
I think that was the first place that I got hit. Girl Scout walked in, and I think I bought 5 or 6 boxes.
How many different girls did you buy from this year?
2.
2?
Yeah.
I got mine was 2 as well.
Yeah.
No, I bought the mints from both of them.
Yeah, I bought some Thin Mints, a couple of Samoas, and then I tried these Adventurefuls. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Something like that.
But it's like a caramel brownie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah,
they were okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Well, let's move it on to spring break.
Yeah.
Which is coming up, next week?
Yeah, depending on where you're at. For us, it's next week for the kids. But I think generally across the country, it's probably March.
Somewhere in March, and so we both have been in college.
Yeah.
Did you ever spring break in college?
I never went anywhere as far as a destination for spring break. I kind of thought that it was always a good idea, like you see the beach spring breaks, Mardi Gras, or things like that. But I never had the money for that, so we just held our own spring breaks.
Right.
I still think it would be cool one of these years. It always creeps up on me when the kids have spring break, and I think, man, I should have took a week of PTO and done something with it.
Right.
But yeah, it always surprises me, honestly.
Yeah. So I know we both have had kids young, so that kind of deterred us from being able to be full-fledged college students. I'd like to say, put quotes on that. But most of my spring breaks were spent working.
Yeah.
I only went to college for a year and a half, so that didn't obviously gave me 1 spring break, really, maybe 2.
Right.
And then after that, I was kind of a full-time worker after that. So.
I mean, my first year of college, I did end up dropping out because I went to too many parties.
Frat parties, though.
Yeah. I mean, I did my fair number of keg stands, but that was really about it, honestly.
Heads up, fans. Go vote. Should Kyle do a keg stand on the next podcast?
We probably ought to put a poll up.
Yes, we need a poll. We're coming to you. Be looking out on Facebook. We're going to have this. Send it to a vote. And you guys have to buy the keg as well.
Yeah, we're going to need some support for that one.
Yeah. So, no, I think spring break has turned into a very big event now.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in our communities, we have obviously a college by us. So a lot of people from Macomb, which is 15 minutes away, leave for spring break.
Right.
So our area gets pretty desolate over spring break to where there's nobody around.
Yeah. All we have left is the Macomb homies.
Yeah. And they're Bushnell spring break is kind of really close to that, and most of us keep working. I don't know too many of us in town that take their kids and go. So.
Yeah, I can't think of too many people I know that really do anything for spring break.
I can't.
So.
But fun topic to talk about. Obviously, you got Panama City seems to be the biggest hit that I've heard of.
Florida. A lot of people go to Florida.
Well, that's where Panama City is.
Right, yeah.
Hey. The Gulf of USA.
The Gulf of America. Mardi Gras, obviously we talked about.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Like, I don't think people go too far.
News to me on what they do. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Like my work doesn't be like, hey, it's spring break, go party for a week.
Yeah.
I would love it if they did.
That'd be all right.
Talking to my boss here. We're in the half for this.
That's true.
Paid trip, a business trip, golfing.
Golfing?
I might be able to make this work. Hey, I could do this, spring break in Florida, golfing with my boss.
1 week every year.
Yeah. What can I do? Yeah.
We can record there.
Yeah. That's the best thing about a podcast. As long as two friends have a microphone and a laptop,
yeah,
we'll get to go.
We're anywhere. Coming to you live from Panama City.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next topic, which is going to be a little touchy. So we're going to apologize for that ahead of time. You may or may not agree with what we're saying. You may not like what we're going to say. Definitely don't let any kids watch this. Maybe nobody under the age of like 16. I mean, after 16, they should probably know about this anyway.
Right.
Especially with the way YouTube is nowadays and the way you can get on Google and find everything. But Illinois passed, or is voting to pass.
Yeah.
One weird, messed up law.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into this. And when we come to this, what were they thinking topic, we try to get something that's going to gear conversation.
Right.
And I think this week we found another good one.
No, man, it's could be very controversial for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Being from Illinois, I'm going to say that I believe this has to do with a way for them to collect more tax money.
I 100% believe that they looked at this, that is a problem, that everybody knows is a problem, and they said, we can't stop it, but we can make money off of it.
Right. So basically, what it boils down to is legalizing a sex worker.
It would be a legitimate career.
Yes. So they would have to file taxes on the money they make. So in my grand scheme of what I believe, they're just trying to make some money off of it. Like you said, we can't stop it. It's happening. What's one thing we can do? We can pass it and make money.
Yeah, basically they would have the same rights as every other Illinois employee, whether they be self-employed or through a business. How do you say this without just
opening a business
saying that their boss, now has to provide health insurance? I would assume STI testing.
Oh man, all kinds of things. I mean, like
birth control. I don't know.
Are you bringing back the mortals that are where people can just walk in and do this?
Right.
No, is this house calls? Is it self-employed? I don't know.
Well,
we already have OnlyFans, so.
Right, and it's hard because number one, and I'm not judging anybody if I have any.
We listen, but we don't judge.
Sex workers watching this podcast, thank you. I think that there's a stigma. Like, I think if you walk in to buy a car, you walk in and you're like, I want a car loan, and they're like, great, how much do you make a year? And you're like, $80K, and they're like, well, what do you do for a living? I'm a sex worker. I mean, people are going to look at you funny. I'm not trying to be mean, but people are going to look at you funny. And I think on one hand of this, we touched on it last week briefly, there's the topic of consent.
Oh, yeah.
If it's two consenting adults, we are going to do this, you're going to pay this, and that's what happens, it's a business deal?
Yeah.
But if we go outside of that, if we don't pay for that, there's a lot of gray space with this.
There really is. Obviously, the biggest thing to me is it morally correct?
Yeah.
Obviously, we already have a lot of people with the morally correct stuff of OnlyFans, and this only really steers us in a worse direction, in my opinion. I don't have any daughters.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them doing this. I don't want my boys doing it. I want you to find a job that's gonna keep you from getting an STD or AIDS or any of that stuff.
Or beat or
Right.
raped or killed. I
Right.
mean, honestly,
You see all these movies that have people meeting up at a bar in a hotel and then getting something done in the hotel room to them. I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Right.
I feel like we're encouraging that to happen with passing this law.
Right. And please don't get us wrong. We're not saying that if you're a sex worker, then you accept these risks, because nobody should have to deal with that, right? We're not saying that.
Right.
But I think that there's so many gray areas and risks with that I don't know. And my question then would be, obviously the linked issue here is sex trafficking, right?
Right.
So if sex workers are now registered in Illinois and they're legit employees,
Right.
does that help monitor sex trafficking, or does that make it worse?
Well, that's a good question. I believe it could go either way.
I mean, it could go either way. It's like, hey.
You get some young 18-year-old who just turned 18 who gets involved in this, most likely going to get sex trafficked.
Here's your health insurance. Here's your paycheck. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. You just go out and work hard.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Hard.
Work hard. And, sorry.
Ride hard.
But how do you almost have to have a whole nother, because I know that the government loves committees.
Right.
You almost have to have a whole nother committee that makes sure everything's okay. I don't know.
Well, we're going to regulate, the STD testing, distribution of the condoms.
You can only have 4 encounters a day. Like the truck drivers, they can drive so far a day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
4 encounters a day. Oof. What would you charge if you were a sex worker?
Right.
Like 4 encounters a day. I don't need to work the rest of the week. Like, are we being stupid here, not taking advantage of this?
Are we going to change this podcast?
Nah.
No, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a touchy subject. It's a gray area for a lot of people. Maybe not us so much. I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to condone any sex that you don't want to have. Obviously, consent needs to happen. But, to me, this is just something that's morally incorrect. Like, I don't feel like we should be saying, hey, go sell your body and, be with a bunch of different people, make money on it. I just don't feel like that's correct. I don't know that I would ever want to be in a place to tell my kids, hey, I did this because I wanted to, not because I provided for you.
Yeah, and I think, how do you handle that if it is a daughter, a sister, your wife?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, what if she's like, hey, I can get a pay raise. There's this legit job offer with, I don't know, Sex Workers USA. I get a 401k, I get insurance, my pay raise will go up 20,000. Like, I don't know.
No, it's not enough for me, man.
No,
Well, that's all we're going to speak on that. I think we hit some stuff, and
I think
maybe we're going to get canceled in episode 2 because we talked about this. Either way, whatever. Let's get on our closing statement, starting with March Madness.
Yeah, I do want to touch on this. Our last contest went really, really well, and again, thanks everybody. March Madness, we're going to be coming at you soon. Selection Sunday is the 16th, I think we decided. Today that we are recording is March 3rd. Yep. This will drop on March 5th. We're going to be getting those brackets out on our Facebook page and available for you guys soon.
What are we going to charge these customers, or not customers, fans and followers of ours for entering this bracket contest?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to have an entry fee that is accessible for most people, with the idea that we want a lot of people to join in. We want this to be fun. We talked about we're going to post our brackets so that you can see them, so nobody's cheating. We'll split those winnings up. We've kind of already talked about that. But I was thinking somewhere in the ballpark of like $10.
I think $10 would be a fantastic amount. Now keep in mind, $5 are going to go to the Garage Time podcast. $5 goes back into the pot for you to win with the correct bracket. Or with the top three, right?
We'll do top three.
We're going to do the top three. So obviously, the more people that sign up, the more money we can put in the pot. We will pay $10 ourselves to go in.
Yes.
We're not gonna, just put ours in for free and try to collect money. No, we'll pay $10. So automatically in your pot, there's already $10 in there because we're each putting one in, or we put one in together. Let's each put one in. Let's each put one in. So, come see if we can beat the Masters, I guess.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm thinking somewhere where we split that up just so that everybody knows. 50% obviously goes to us. We've got to run the bracket. We've got to make some money for the podcast to pay for the microphone and some other things. But that other 50% is split up between 3 people. So,
we'll get more into those details on how we're going to split it. I would think first place probably should get 50% of the 50%.
It's like 25% of the total.
So 25% of the total. So, if we can get like 300 people in there, that'd be awesome.
Right? Yeah, I mean, that's a big pot for anybody to win. And if you know basketball, or even if you don't, man, pick the mascots.
I know several people, especially in the last couple of years with the way these upsets go anymore, who pick mascots or colors and make it to the Final Four. Yeah. It's not really an algorithm anymore.
No.
I mean, there's so many upsets. The transfer portal has changed the college landscape on sports. So, just because so-and-so was good last year at whatever school does not mean it's going to happen this year. Now, one team we talked about was Arizona.
Yeah.
And they are doing absolutely terrible compared to what they have in the last few years.
Yeah, we watched Iowa State kick their ass the other night.
Yeah. Boo, Iowa State. I'm an Iowa fan, so no. Go Big Ten.
If you watched episode 1, you saw one of the teams that I brought up that we were really big on was Tennessee. Dropped that game-winning 3-pointer on Alabama over the weekend. That was great.
Speaking of game winners, we've had Michigan State and Michigan hit back-to-back nights.
Big Ten again.
Yeah, Big Ten.
So I think be on the watch out for that. We'll probably make another quick video when this all drops, just to let you guys know how to pay, how the winnings are going to work, and where the bracket's at. But we really look forward to doing that with you guys.
Obviously, we talked about the social media contest, which ends March 5th.
Yep, this Wednesday. Which is when this episode drops.
So between now and then, I guess you're not going to see it, but if you liked and followed us on social media, we'll put your name in there. Hopefully, we get a lot of entrants. I think there's probably 100 so.
Anyway, oh, easy, yeah. And we've got, we'll do that drawing. We're going to have one winner, which we've talked about before. And
we'll do the drawing live.
Yes.
We may not say the name out loud because I don't know if that person wants their name on the podcast.
Correct.
So I don't know if we should do that. We'll talk more about that. And then you'll see what happens when the podcast drops for sure.
We have some special plans for that contest winner.
And as always, we have a new episode dropping every Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. We started out with Podbean, but I think that's probably going to be a no-go for us. It's not seeming to work out the way we thought it was going to.
We didn't realize that you had to download the app to even see our podcast on Podbean. So in the last week, we've been working hard. We are still on Podbean for right now. We'll let you know before that changes. But we are also on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I think that's it right now. We're pretty easy to find. But yeah, available to you guys.
So as he said, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube, and wherever else you can get your podcast. If we can get it there, we'll try to. You can shoot us a shout, be like, hey, I'm on this app. You should check it out. We might, we're trying to decide what our next thing's gonna be, but. As always, we're happy to be doing this. We're having some fun.
Yeah, it's going great.
Hopefully episode 2 went way better. I'm not going to watch it until it drops because, I don't know, superstitions, I guess.
We just got to make sure that both of our voices are in it. So if you see an episode that's really shitty and stiff, then you know this didn't work out.
Yeah, so, but until next time.
We'll see you on Garage Time.